Welcome to another episode of Pirkei Avot. We are in the latter half of the third Perek, and we're going to do Mishna 16 in memory of Levy ben Moshe Esther and Elisheva Yael bat Levy, and also in memory of Binyamin ben or Moshe ben Binyamin. Okay, Michael, it's all yours.
Thanks, Rabbi Mashiach. So in this, the 16th Mishnah, we are going to learn the words of Rabbi Yishmael. So who was Rabbi Yishmael? He was a Tana of the younger group of the second generation in the 1st and 2nd century CE. He came from a wealthy family of Kohanim, and his father may yet have served in the temple. His grandfather was probably the Kohen Gadol of the same place. Taken into captivity by the Romans as a boy, he was ransomed by Rabbi Yoshua ben Hananiah for a high price. For Rabbi Yoshua, noting his great knowledge of the Torah, saw in him a future teacher of his people. This we learn in Tosefta, Horayos 2 and Gittin 58a. Along with his other teachers, Rabbi Yoshua helped the boy develop into a prominent scholar. Of a gentle and friendly nature, Rabbi Yishmael urged goodwill and peace. In Deuteronomy 22:13-14, he commented that hate leads on to slander. This is in Midrash Sifrei on Deuteronomy. With his charity and his rulings, he sought to help impoverished Jewish girls to marry, and to aid women whose husbands were drawn into war. In time, he became one of the outstanding members of the Sanhedrin at Yavne, and when it had to move to Usha, he went with it. We learn this in Baba Batra 28b. His 13 principles or rules for interpreting the written law, the written Torah, have become part of the Shacharit, recited at the end of the introductory section. It was also he who laid the foundation for Mechilta, the halachic midrash on the book of Exodus, and Sifrei, the midrash on the book of Numbers. The great part of these works derives from his school, and they illustrate his interpretive approach. According to some sources, he met the tragic death of a martyr during the Hadrianic persecutions. So what does he say? Rabbi Yishmael Omer, Have kal l'rosh v'noach l'tish choresh v'have makabel et kol ha'adam b'simcha. He said, be easily submissive to a superior and affable to a younger person, and receive everyone cheerfully. So here it's quite brief Mishnah that talks about how you should approach and be approached, and how you should be when you receive people, the manner of your emotions and stance. So what does Rambam say about this? Rambam says about being pleasant. He says this is calmness and ease. And he said with this command that when you are in front of a man of great standing, make yourself light towards him and serve him and stand in his presence if he wants, and do not seek honor from yourself from him. But when you are with black hair meaning to say one of younger years, do not do this, but seek honor for yourself from him, and do not be playful, and do not be jocular with him. Afterwards he said, you should not think that that which I have warned you from being jocular with someone of younger years obligates that you should greet him with rage and with a choleric face. That's not the intention. Rather, you need to greet every person, small or big, freeman or slave, every man of the human species with joy. And this is more than which Shammai said, and we learned in Pirkei Avot chapter 1, Mishnah 15, with a pleasant countenance. The translator said, it appears to me from the words of the teacher in Rambam that he explains the word makabel, to receive, from hakbelat panim, being across from the face, which is as if he is across. This is derived from Exodus 26:5, when they describe the loops across, the makbilot, which he translated from the Aramaic as a cross or facing. And also in Arabic one says about the matter in expression of meeting and being opposite. One says so-and-so met me happily or angrily. And with this type of expression did the teacher explain makabel here and know it. So what does Irving Bunim glean from this Mishnah? He says the words of this Mishnah are quite general and vague. They therefore lend themselves to various interpretations. Perhaps the most simple rendering is, when you meet a Rosh or a redoubtable leader or a great thinker, says Rabbi Yishmael, be kal, which is light, swift and agile. Be alert to respond to the situation as it develops, and let him take the lead. But when you talk to a younger man, a tishoreth is from the root shahor, a black, implying a young man whose hair is still ungrayed. Be patient, easy and kindly with him. He is young and inexperienced. Do not expect the impossible of him. Or the Mishnah may apply to the realm of practical affairs to teach us, be kal, quick to attach yourself to a leader who is a proven success in business or practical affairs. As Ralph Waldo Emerson put it, hitch your wagon to a star. If the fortune of a particular person is in the ascendancy, it would appear to be the wise thing to join him. Be more hesitant, however, in the case of younger men. V'noah, rest, take it easy before you throw in your lot with someone who has yet to prove his abilities and mettle. To go in another vein, the Mishnah may wish to correct the overpowering influence of a Rosh, an undisputed autocratic head. When a great man speaks to you, accept his opinions kal, lightly or gingerly, with reservations. Examine his ideas for what they are worth. The fact that a man is an authority in one field does not make him infallible, oracular on every other subject. On the other hand, do not be overly impressed with the bright, fresh ideas of a young man either, for in their very freshness lies the limitation. Wisdom comes with maturity and experience. Give an ear to them, but analyze and examine their thoughts before you decide to accept them. For Rabbi Isaac Abarbanel, our Mishnah comes to teach a middle course and solve a problem. Rav Chanina ben Dosa taught that anyone with whom the spirit of people is pleased, the spirit of Hashem is pleased. This we learnt in Mishnah 13 in a couple of episodes ago. This indicates that we should endeavour to please others and be ingratiating. But it makes no distinction between various kinds of people. By contrast, Rabbi Dosa ben Chokena suggested that certain groups of people are best avoided. This also we learned in Mishnah 14, the last one. On top of that, Rabbi Elazar of Modi'in warns the enormity of the sin of shaming someone in public. Also, the very last Mishnah previous to this. Therefore, Rabbi Ishmael comes to teach a middle path of reason in relating to people. If a man is a head, superior in character and wisdom, receives him cordially and serve him respectfully. Do not hold yourself in high regard before him, but with younger people and youth act quite differently. Be calm and settled, but do not go so far as to receive them with an angry, scowling face. Receive everyone, great or small, with good cheer. I just want to put my personal view into this. Sometimes when a young person who's on the right path meets a holy man or a very powerful man, he is left with lifelong impressions if the holy or highly regarded man treats him in a special way. And so therefore it's also doubly important to greet everyone, great or small, with a good cheer. And Mr. Bunim continues. Now, Rabbi Yishmael's dictum may possibly have a biographical derivation. The head of the community in his day was Rabban Gamliel, who was of aristocratic nature. He set his standards high, and no matter what, he expected and demanded that those standards be met. No student was admitted to his school unless he had the highest scholarly attainments and was of the noblest character. As the Talmud expresses it, he would announce, any student whose inside character is not like his outside learning character, let him not enter this house of study. He was ultimately deposed and Rab Elazar ben Azariah, a young man, was made Nasi in his stead. Rabbi Elazar was more democratic. He invited all to attend the school and participate in its studies. Bearing in mind the sharp differences in views between these two luminaries, Rabbi Shmuel's advice was, be easy in the presence of the great leader Rabbi Gamliel. Retain your independence of judgment and do not be overawed by his background and scholarship, and be patient with the younger, black-haired Rabbi Elazar. Other commentaries relate the word Tishoreth to the Aramaic Shahba, or town captain, or royal officer, or tax collector. Thus the Mishna says, be easy and relaxed with the tax collector. Be honest and straightforward, and don't get yourself involved in a network of lies. Do not try to conceal your profits with imaginary losses. One lie leads to another, and before you know it, you are so involved that your inventions and provocations catch up with you and entangle you. Live your life so that you can be relaxed with the officials. Pay your bills, meet your obligations, and you will have nothing to fear.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michael. Next time we convene, Bezrat Hashem, we will be talking of the famous Rabbi Akiva. And that's Mishna 17. So until then, have a wonderful and blessed week.